Hello everyone, I'm Bindu Trikha, Assistant Professor, IMS Ghaziabad. Today I would be explaining you the nested if statements in C programs. Actually, what are nested if? We have multiple conditions and we can write a program for multiple conditions using logical and non-logical or also, and we can write the nested if statements also. So here nested if is basically an if else construct within a if or within a else construct. So here let us see one example. The syntax of nested if else statement is being written. Here I have written if condition 1 curly brackets. Now this is a block wherein we have written one more if else statement, that is if condition 2, then statement of the body inside nested if, and else statements inside the body of nested else, otherwise it would move to else statement. Now let us see how this nested if works. I have case 1. In case 1, I have condition 1 as true and condition 2 as true. So this is the scenario. My condition 1 is true. That means I'll go to the if block. Now again my condition 2 is also true. So I'll again move to the inner if block, and in inner if block I have the statements inside the body of nested if, and these statements would be printed. I hope now it is clear that condition 1 and condition 2 both are true, then these statements would be executed. Now let's have another case, case 2. Here condition 1 is true. This condition is true, but condition 2 is not true. And if condition 2 is false or not true, that means the else part of the nested if would be executed, and the statements inside the body of nested else would be executed. So here condition 1 is true, so we would be moving inside the if block, but since my condition 2 is false, it won't go to the condition 2, it would move to its else part. Now I have my third case where condition 1 is false. Since condition 1 is false, we are not bothered about whether condition 2 is true or false, because I have to use only my condition 1 here. If condition 1 is true or false and condition 2 is true, there would be no then also it would move to the else part. If condition 1 is false and condition 2 is false, then also it moved to the later else part. That means in this particular case, if my condition 1 is false, the if block would not be executed. The control would directly move to this else part, and the statement inside the body of else would be executed. So here we have case 1, case 2 and case 3. In case 1, my condition 1 and condition 2 both were true. In my case 2, condition 1 was true but condition 2 was false. And in my third case, condition 1 is false, irrespective of whatever the condition 2 is. Now let's move to one more example of nested if. Here again we have case 1 wherein we have condition 1 as true and condition 2 as true. Now since my condition 1 and condition 2 both are true, the statements inside the body of nested if would be executed. Fine. Second case, I have condition 1 as true, condition 2 as false. So our control would move into this particular block, if block. But since condition 2 is false, the control would move to the else part, and the statement inside the body of nested else would be executed. Then we have my case 3. In my case 3, condition 1 is false. Now since condition 1 is false, my else part would be executed. Now in else part I have condition 3 also. This condition 3 would now be tested whether the condition is true or the condition is false. Now in case 3 I have considered condition 1 as false and condition 3 as true. Now since my condition 3 is true, these statements would be executed. And my last case, case number 4, is here condition 1 is false and condition 3 is also false. Now since condition 1 is false, else part would be executed. Then condition 3 is also false. Again the else part would be executed and the statement inside the body of nested else would be displayed onto the or would be processed according to your statements. So here when I have condition 1 and condition 2 both true, or when I have my condition 1 is true, then condition 3 is true or false, it doesn't matter to me. My condition 2 is true or my condition 2 is false would show the possible result. Fine. And then if I say my condition 1 is false, then I am only bothered about my condition 3, whether it is true or it is false, irrespective of whether my condition 2 is true or false. So I hope these cases would now have cleared all your doubts about the nested if else statements. Let us see this nested if else using one program as well. I have written a program for calculating the largest of 3 numbers. Let us move to that particular program. Here I have written a program macro.c. .c because it's a C program, and I have included 2 header files, stdio.h because I have used my printf and scanf functions, and conio.h because I have used clear screen and getch functions in this particular program. Now in main function I have declared 3 variables a, b and c. Using scanf I have entered the 3 values for a, b and c. Now my question is, if a is greater than b, that means I'll be moving into this particular block. Now it would check whether a is greater than c or not. Yes, if a is greater than c, then a is greatest would be printed, else c is greatest would be printed. Now we move to the else part. If a is not greater than b, that means a is smaller than b, or we can say b is greater than a. Then we would check whether b is greater than c also. Yeah, we have, if b is greater than c, then it would print b is greatest, else it would print c is greatest. Now let us run this particular program and see whether our result is okay or not. So I have to enter 3 variables. The first value is 3, the next value I have entered is 8, and the next value I have entered is 6. It's 6. Let us see what does it show. According to my program, it should show b is greatest. Yes, it is. Now let us again execute it. My values are 5, 3 and 1. Yes, we have a is greatest, and again I have entered my value as 5, 7 and 9. It is printing 9, c is greatest. So we have a program for nested if, wherein we have used nested if else statements to show whether a is greatest or b is greatest or c is greatest. That means we have compared 3 integers and find out the largest of 3 numbers. Now now this is all about your if else statement, and thank you, and have a nice day.